Hi, good morning everybody. Welcome back to the channel and to my kitchen. And today we're going to have another AeroGarden update. I've got my coffee, regular in the morning, black coffee today. And we're going to do an AeroGarden update for today. We've done one yesterday, but I'm going to do another one today because I did have a great question from a commenter yesterday asking how to properly store your fresh herbs after you've harvested them of the AeroGarden. So we've got a couple that we've harvested already. The basil's been going quite nicely and the dill is growing like crazy. So we've got a lot of dill, got a lot of basil. So I will show you how to properly, basically we've done the video before how to properly trim the dill and the basil, but I'll show you how I store it and we'll keep it fresh for a couple weeks probably. So let's do an update first to show you where everything is growing. Yesterday we did a bit of pruning. We also did the feeding. So if you want to check out yesterday's video, I will link it up above, but you can also check out my AeroGarden playlist. It has all the videos right from the setup up until today, almost daily videos showing how this AeroGarden is growing. Yesterday, as I said, we did the food and then we did a bit of pruning, and I've really cut down on the dill quite a bit just because the mint is really not doing well. If you've been following along, the mint's been a disappointment, still really is. I don't know if it's gonna come back. We'll take a look here. It's just not looking good. So let's give an update and then I will show you how I store my fresh herbs, and we'll show you the best way to kind of store them after you've pruned and harvested them on your AeroGarden so they'll last the longest. So let's give an update here. First, we can see where we are. So we've been planted for 43 days. And we've got 13 days left until we have to add the plant food again. We added plant food yesterday, so if you want to see that, we have a video on feeding the AeroGarden. And so while I'm here, I always like to kind of check in the morning. I will check the water level. We filled up water yesterday, so it should be good, but it's gone down a little bit, but we're still okay. So let's gonna raise the light. I trimmed down, you can probably notice, I trimmed down the dill quite a bit yesterday, just because I want to make sure that the other herbs are getting enough light. And we'll take a look here. Let's go close up and we'll see the little lowly mint down there it's really not doing well. One of the leaves actually fell off. You can see it here. One of those there, the other one just fell off. It's just really not doing that well. So the reason I cut back heavily on some of the herbs to kind of get a bit of space, so the mint can get some more of the light, and that way I can lower the light. So as you can see, everything else is growing quite great, really. The dill is back. You know, I trimmed it down yesterday, but it continues to grow, and we've got lots of new sprouts and the fronds kind of starting to grow there. So I'm going to trim it down a bit more so we can lower the light again. Parsley still doing good. We haven't harvested any of the parsley yet, but we're getting close there for some garnish on stuff. And then this is the Thai basil. Obviously, has always been doing really good from the very beginning. I trimmed some of this the other day, and I've got some stored, and I'll show you how we properly store it. And the Genovese basil, still going strong there too. So I've kind of moved it so hopefully the mint can get some more light. And again, here this is the thyme kind of coming along nicely. So for trimming, we've trimmed in before I've shown you, I'm not going to trim any of the basil today because I did that already. I've shown that in another video, so if you do want to see that, you can go back and take a look in the playlist, definitely. But what I want to do today is really trim down the dill again, just so we can lower the lights. And then we'll store this. So I'm going to trim that down as much as possible because we've got a lot of growth coming up on the bottom that I want to basically have start to grow up. So I'm going to cut this back just before and I'm not really worried about the dill seems to be growing so well that I'm not super worried about almost over pruning it, just because we've got such good growth happening on it that I think we'll be okay. So I'm gonna really trim that down, as you can see. We'll leave these ones going, but now we can lower the light quite a bit. So the light's quite lowered. So now our mint hopefully will start to get some more light. We'll get some more growth out of the other ones because we've got so much dill that we can really trim it back. So there is an update. That's day 43. And we've got 13 more days till we have to give it some more food, but let's go back. We'll show you how I properly store the herbs that we've just harvested. All right, so there we go. This is the dill that I just trimmed, and I've got a bunch of dill that I did the other day as well, tons. If you're looking for ways to use up dill, I did a video live yesterday, just an impromptu live on how to make refrigerator pickles. I can actually show you those. We made them yesterday, and I have some almost gone. That's the one from the first batch, and I've got some more in the fridge kind of going that would be ready in a couple days. So we've got our fresh herbs. Best way to store these is I do like to give them a little rinse over cold water, just a quick rinse to wash them off and shake them dry as much as possible. What that will rinse off is if there's any dust on the herbs. Obviously, if they're in your house, they're going to have a little bit of dust around. Sometimes it gets onto the herbs, and the odd time you'll have a little bug or something like that might be on there. That way, the cold water just rinses it off, and they're nice and clean. It also does give it a little bit of moisture. So once that's got a bit of moisture on it, what I like to do is make sure you do leave all of the stems as much as possible that you've trimmed. So you want to leave these on for the time being until we use it. And then basically Ziploc bag with the other herbs. And I trimmed those other ones yesterday, so it's okay to kind of mix them because a day is not going to make a big difference. Ziploc bag, it's got a little bit of moisture droplets in there from when it's been washed off and just sealed up, and you'll want to keep that in the refrigerator. These will keep sealed like this for a good week and a half, almost 2 weeks if you leave them sealed. The reason you want to leave the stems on is because there's still lots of moisture in there. There's nutrients in there, and that way it will keep the fronds, green and not wilted, because it will have still some nutrients from in the stems to keep it. It's obviously not going to grow anymore, but it's going to keep it. It'll keep it fresher. If we were to trim off the dill as we were to be using it, and we really trimmed off the stems, it's going to wilt a lot faster, and it's not going to last very long. You really want to trim it off the stems with just the pieces that you want to use as you're using it in a recipe, and leave it as much as possible, as whole as possible. That'll stay in your fridge, like I said, easy, a week and a half, couple weeks. As long as it's cool in the fridge, you can leave that there. Don't mix. If you've got a batch that you've harvested, you don't want to add, if a few days later you don't want to add more to the same bag, because what will happen is some will start to wilt and then go off before the other ones are, and you really don't want to mix them that way. So do your harvesting, keep it in one bag. When you harvest the next time, if it's a few days later, a bit longer, use a different bag for your next harvest. Put them in the fridge. You can also just write or stick on a piece of tape, maybe the date, so you know what's this first or second to use up. But you can get an idea once you start looking at them what ones are newer than others. So those will be good to use. And in that one, I've also got some of the basil, and this actually I harvested a few days ago, and this is fine. So if you are harvesting and pruning your basil, make sure you do it properly and leaving, again, if you want to check my video on how to properly prune the basil, I've got a video in the playlist. You want to have, again, leave as much of the stem on as possible. You don't want to harvest it and then pick the leaves off, because the same thing will happen. They will start to wilt a lot faster. These have already been in the fridge for a few days and they're still perfectly fine. So same idea, rinse off, a little bit of moisture, and actually you might not be able to see it on camera, but there's still some moisture you can see actually in the bag, so they'll stay nice and fresh. Again, easy, a week and a half, 2 weeks almost, if they're sealed and nicely done in there. Now, also too, you'll notice they are in separate bags, and if you are harvesting things, they're going to be at different times, obviously, but if you're harvesting the different herbs on the same day, keep them in different bags, because what will happen is with the dill especially, and different other herbs, obviously they're quite fragrant, and you will, if you put them all into the same bag, some of the smells and the aromas will get transferred between all the herbs, and they won't kind of keep their you know, their own smell and taste, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So if you have a recipe that needs just basil, and if you have it mixed in with the dill, you're going to get a bit of dill taste in there, and vice versa. So you want to keep them separate. Get a box of the little Ziploc bags and you'll be fine. So there we go. That's how to properly store your harvested AeroGarden herbs. These I'll just put in the fridge on the top shelf. They will stay fine. You want to put them somewhere just kind of on their own, because you don't want them to get crushed by other stuff. Obviously, if stuff is getting pushed against them or other herbs, they will get kind of crushed and they won't last as long. But as long as they're on the side, put them on the top shelf off in the corner with all your herbs, they will be fine. There we go. Hopefully that was a bit useful for storing your herbs. I've had a few people commenting, asking that, and there's been a few people joining the channel now that have just been starting their AeroGarden, and they've been joining me right from they're starting their AeroGarden. They've been watching some of my first videos, so it's pretty awesome to see other people learning as I go. This is my first time growing these. It's been lots of fun, learning lots. Hopefully I've shared a little bit of information and you've learned a little bit as well. If you have questions, leave me a comment in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer them in an upcoming video. If I don't know the answer, I will do a bit of research and try and find out the answer for you for one of the upcoming videos. It's always kind of fun to learn. I've had some things happen with my AeroGarden that other people have or haven't, so it's just kind of fun to have this growing. And we're getting finally fresh herbs every day. Almost too many herbs now, actually. It's crazy how it grows, except for me, except for that lowly mint that is not working. So I don't know. I'm hopefully I'll come back after this, after we keep it pruned and kind of keep it separated, get it some light. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you have any other AeroGarden questions, like I said, leave me a comment down below. I'll happily answer them in an upcoming video. If this is your first time here watching this update on the AeroGarden, you want to see more previous videos, I'll leave the whole playlist at the very end of this video. And also too, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the notification bell as well, because I do go on live. Regularly scheduled normally is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're taking a bit of time off for the summer because the weather's nice, everybody's getting outside, but we'll be back with our regular live streams very soon. But I also do go live kind of impromptu, much like yesterday when I did the refrigerator pickle video. So hit the notification bell and you will get notified as a notification when I do go live and when new videos are posted. So thanks so much. That was today's update. We'll see you on the next one, and have a great day, everybody.